I was watching last night with TNT, and Shaq was talking about the greatest of all time. And here's a portion of what he had to say on Inside the NBA on TNT.
I'm wondering, not saying, I'm just wondering, because he's been consistently the best shooter his whole career. I'm wondering, is it time to start putting him as the best player of all time?
Best player? Over, you put him over you?
In the conversation.
I'm asking you.
Yes.
You put him over you. You yourself
Way
put
better,
Steph Curry
yes,
over you.
Yeah, this is why he's my favorite player. Cause
I'm not saying favorite. He might be my favorite too, but I'm just asking you, think he's better than you?
I played 20 years, watched 20 years before that. I've never seen a guy like him. And he's doing it consistently, and he has championships.
You put him over Michael?
No, I'm not putting him anywhere. I'm saying,
okay,
for all the chitter chatter, is it time to just put him in the conversation?
I think he's a.
I'm asking the fans, is it time to start putting him in the conversation as one of the best players ever?
Okay, I understand what Shaq is saying. That I was wondering, this is probably 2 years ago, at what point do we start looking at, is somebody going to get into the top 10? I don't know if Steph was in the top 10 2 years ago, or Kevin Durant in there in the top 10. And look, you're going to have to make way for Giannis at some point, the Joker at some point, maybe Luka at some point. There's going to be some guys, not everybody can be. I mean, you have to have 10 in the top 10. You can't have 12 or 13. And it feels like we have a couple of guys who are on the outside looking in. Is Steph in the top 10 now of all time? And Shaq is saying, look, he's not Michael Jordan. Now, can we do this generation to generation? But then you have overlaps there. LeBron didn't play against Mike. Kobe did. LeBron played against Kobe. Kobe is a top 10 player. If I said Kobe or Steph Curry, I think that's where you would get an interesting debate. LeBron's, the whole career here, if you factor all of that in, it might be the best player of all time. If we're factoring in 20 years. Michael, shorter career, but we know the damage he did, when he had those 6 championships. Steph Curry's got 4, a couple of scoring titles, MVP in the finals once, 2-time MVP, one with and without Kevin Durant. I have no problem discussing it, but I don't know what Shaq's argument is or the debate is. Okay, is he one of the top players of all time? Yeah. Now, are we debating, is he better than Kareem? Is he better than Mike? Is he better than LeBron? Probably not. Okay, so what's the debate here? Is he better than Magic? Is he better than Bird? Is he better than Tim Duncan? Is he better than Shaq? So that's where, if you want to have an argument, then that can be fun. And plus, it removes the conversation of LeBron or Michael, who do you got? Which I prefer to never discuss again. But I think Steph Curry, he changed the game. Greatest shooter of all time. Now, he did change the game in a bad way, too, because everybody thinks they can shoot threes. But he changed the game. And I think his size, everybody else in that top 10 is at least, 6'5", 6'6". And I think, we do root for the underdog. And if I look at what he does and how now he's 6'3". So he's legit 6'3". He doesn't look like that, but he is. But as far as putting him in the top 10, okay, who am I taking out? Because you got to take out somebody. If he goes in, and is Kevin Durant going to be in? And then Giannis is going to be in. And then Joker's going to be in. Larry Bird out? Jerry West out? Oscar out? Yes, Eaton.
Steph has the one thing that only a few people in history have, in that you could say he changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
There are not a lot of people who could say that, where like Kevin Durant is probably one of the best scorers ever. He's a tremendous player, but I don't know if he changed the game.
Okay. Wilt should be in there. Top 10 players, right, of all time. Wilt changed the game. I feel like Kareem changed the game. I feel like Magic changed. Like there are guys who changed the game, because you'd never put a 6'9" point guard out there who wasn't a great shooter, who didn't even need to score to dominate a game. Kareem was unstoppable. Wilt was unstoppable in a previous generation. Tim Duncan with those titles. Larry Bird, 3-time, MVP, career cut short with injuries. Jerry West won 1 title. Mr. Clutch, Oscar Robertson, he won a title with Milwaukee. Like, these are harder decisions to make because somebody's going to have to come out. Is Shaq coming out? I don't think so. Yeah, Paulie?
I think Steph Curry's got everything on his side, like with this. He's got a long amount of greatness. He overachieved to where he was drafted. He's entertaining, very entertaining, one of the most entertaining players of all time. He's considered the greatest shooter of all time, and the wins. I would take Tim Duncan out comfortably. I think Steph Curry's career is better. I think he's better. He's much more entertaining, and he changed the game. Tim Duncan was a very, very good player for a long time.
But I don't know if entertainment factors into being a top 10 player of all time.
To me, it does a bit because of part of the greatness of it.
Nobody saw Oscar Robertson play.
Yeah.
Nobody did. I did because I grew up in Cincinnati. And Oscar was an unbelievably athletic player and a big guard at the time. We only saw him when he went to Milwaukee. And by then, he was kind of walking it up the floor. And he played with Kareem. He won 1 title. He was a great college player, wonderful stats in the NBA. Jerry West, bottom line, we want you to win. He won 1. Not by, his fault, but, once again, how do you categorize this with that guy's in? I mean, he's the logo. So if I'm going to go, damn, the logo's not even a top 10 player of all time. But he might not be. As much as I love Jerry, he might not be. Is Kobe? Kobe's the top 10 player of all time. Yes, Marv.
And Magic and Bird feel like those guys are so tough to take out because the NBA is what it is.
They should occupy 1 spot. Let's say the 8th spot is Magic Bird or Bird Magic.
Yeah.
And they're like, who is that guy? Oh, the guy named Magic Bird? Yep. What they did, they helped save the NBA. Change the game. We can discuss this coming up next hour. But I do think that there is a discussion of Steph Curry's place. I think we're just so careful of, those names that are there in the top 10. Can I take that guy out? Yeah. You're going to be taking a few of those guys out in 15 or 20 years.